The SACP will picket outside the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria this morning to call for the end of tensions between Iran and the United States. Now, the demonstration is in response to America's recent military attack that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Iraq earlier this month. Now, the airstrikes was ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump. Let's get the very latest now on the ground. SABC news reporter Samkele Maseko is covering the story for us. Samkele, very good morning to you. So what is the SACP's position on, well, with regards to the tensions between Iran and the United States?
The SACP, the South African Communist Party, is very clear that they are against US President Donald Trump on this particular airstrike or drone strike that was sanctioned by him on General Soleimani that killed the Iranian general in Iraq, and it resulted in that particular death and that particular escalation of tensions between Iran and the United States of America. So you've got the SACP with their alliance partners COSATU and the African National Congress, the governing party in South Africa, coming to picket here outside the US Embassy. You'd understand that the South African Communist Party is saying that they are against the United States, they are against the war, and they are against imperialism, and in fact all forces in the world and left forces should be joining one in hand to fight against the imperialist American government and to fight against President Donald Trump's war against Iran, saying that must come to an end. They will be issuing and submitting a memorandum to the United States Embassy here in Pretoria to try and voice out their opinion on what's happening between Iran and America in that standoff that's currently there.
Samkele, what are they telling you in terms of what they're afraid of? I'm talking about the SACP here. If the tensions between Iran and the United States escalate, how will that affect us? What are they afraid of?
At this point in time, they've not yet been clear, or that would be the South African Communist Party will hear their particular word on what they are afraid of when they come here. But what we have seen, particularly from the SACP's alliance partners, in particular the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, is saying that if there is a war between America and Iran, that basically means that there's going to be a hike in petrol prices in the country, as the crude oil will obviously rise up because of the tensions that will be there between Iran and America. You understand that Iran is one of the producers of crude oil, and that's one of their assets and crude oils that they have at their disposal. So they are saying through Tito Mboweni that that would result in further economic blows, economic woes for South Africa, as fuel prices would go up, the cost of living within South Africa would also go up. It would affect the African continent negatively. So these are some of the issues that have been raised by one of the ministers in government, and have been raised by a sitting ANC-NEC member, South African Communist Party, through its General Secretary, Bladen Zimande, and Solima Paila, his first Deputy General Secretary, have also spoken out against this particular posture that the United States of America is taking against Iran, saying that wars are not the solution to the world's, to the globe's problems, but dialogue is the best way to resolve these problems. Also saying that America must stop acting like a big brother to the world and respect the sovereignty of other member states. So these are the issues that are being raised by the South African Communist Party. They will start picketing here outside the US Embassy in Pretoria at 10 o'clock this morning, and they will disperse at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. The gathering is expected to be addressed by the first Deputy General Secretary of the South African Communist Party, Solima Paila, and the President of COSATU, or the General Secretary of COSATU. That would be either Zingiswa or Peginchalinchali, and also one of the alliance partners, that would be the African National Congress. They are also expecting that the Secretary General of the ANC will give a word on behalf of the alliance partner at this particular picket against the United States of America's stance on Iran, against the killing of General Soleimani, who was killed in a drone strike ordered by American President Donald Trump.
South Africa has no doubt, as a country, been, putting forward what they think is the solutions to the tensions between Iran and the United States. You were talking about the finance minister and what he had to say with regards to these tensions. Is that pretty much the posture that the South African government is taking?
President Cyril Ramaphosa, during the ANC's January 8 in Kimberley, he did have a chat with the Iranian president, and he did speak to him and gave them their support, and said that they seek for a dialogue between the two countries, the United States and Iran, for them to get around the table to find an amicable solution to this, as opposed to going to war. So the African government has taken a posture and has been very lenient and supportive of the Iranian posture when it comes to their issue of their standoff with Iran. Iran itself has said that they will respond to the Americans in due time, and they will not voice out how they were going to respond. They said they would respond in 11 sorts of forms to the Americans, which they are thinking of, and they will implement in the due course of time. We did speak to the Iranian ambassador to South Africa, who did say that they will be responding and they are against what the American government is doing, but it's the decision the Americans have taken, it's the decision that their President Donald Trump has taken, and all they have to do is to protect themselves now from the imperialist American government and from the leader of America, Donald Trump. We've also had the likes of the Minister of Home Affairs in South Africa, Aaron Motsoaledi, saying disparaging remarks about the American president and his leadership style, being a fierce critic of Donald Trump. That would be Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, who's the Minister of Health, Minister of Home Affairs rather, here in South Africa. So these are the various comments that are coming from government officials in the country and from political parties such as the South African Communist Party. COSATU as well has voiced out its opinion on what's happening, but the South African government seems to be standing firm with the Iranian people and the Iranian government in this particular posture and against America.
Last year that South Africa took up this seat as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. But I'm just interested to know from the people you spoke to, Samkele, in terms of South Africa's position or standpoint on any matters international, be it this one with regard to the tensions between Iran and the United States. Does it matter in the scheme of things?
Yes, it does really matter, because you'd remember South Africa is part of the global community. We do have a Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor. They have also issued out their voice when it comes to this particular issue of Iran. It was not as hard-hitting as from DECO here in Pretoria as opposed to the response by the African National Congress through its Secretary General, which was very hard-hitting against the Americans and supporting the people of Iran, the people of Iraq as well. So these particular views, particularly when it comes to South Africa's foreign policy, will be spoken about by Dr. Naledi Pandor, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, of International Relations and Cooperation. So they do have a voice. They've issued out their opinion with regards to the standoff between Iran and America, and have called for a ceasefire. You'd remember that South Africa will be chairing the AU this year, with President Cyril Ramaphosa taking the seat there, and he has even said that their theme this year is silencing of the guns in 2020. So that would not be only a posture that they are taking within the African continent as well. They would be taking it in the United Nations Security Council, which they are not permanent. We don't have a permanent seat there. But these are the issues that they'll be taking globally in form of silencing the guns, not only within the African continent but also internationally. But we have taken a stand, and the president has said that they are standing with the people of Iran as opposed to standing with the Americans. Hence, the alliance partners SACP, COSATU, and ANC are picketing here outside the United States Embassy.
Samkele, thank you very much indeed. We'll try to come back to you when things get underway there. Appreciate your reporting. Samkele Maseko, SABC News reporter.